All praises due to the Most High, family. We back with another Acres anime review. I just finished watching season 4, episode 5 of The Shield Hero. So last episode, we left off in the middle of FOHL and Geralis's showdown. So basically, at this point, Geralis is transformed. So Peep family, like a little piece of context, if you aren't clear on the understanding, there's like a demi-human in like a human form, like they're human presenting, but you can tell that they have animal characteristics still. That's like the demi-human form. And then when they be transforming, they turn into a beastman. And so this is where you look more like, this is like, okay, FOHL is demi-human, like human appearance. And then at the end of the last episode, FOHL transformed into a beastman. So he looks more white tiger, but he's still on 2 feet. He still behaves like a human. He still moves like a human. But then in this episode, FOHL transforms again. Geralis was already at beastman like transformation. So when Geralis transforms and then when FOHL transforms in this episode, now they look like full-blown animals, right? They don't necessarily look like demi-humans. They just look like beasts or animals. Okay, so let's get the context around that. So FOHL is in his beastman form. He looks more muscular. He's taller. He looks like a white tiger bodybuilder. But so, and he was putting the pause on Geralis for a little while because he's much faster. He's more confident. Now for me saying, oh, all of his stats are increased. Now, remember in the last episode, in the last review, Geralis called some reinforcements. So this is keeping Naofumi and Raftalia and Philo. It's keeping us busy. Even Atla, because the guy that she defeated, they defeat him and then they just keep standing up. They just keep wanting more because they're like, this is what Naofumi said, they're like zombies because of what Geralis is doing. So conclusion, family, like we need FOHL to defeat Geralis so these guys stop coming up. But because FOHL is putting a pause on Geralis now, Geralis gets frustrated. He says, I need more blood. I need more power. And so what does he do? What does every evil villain do? Is they manipulate their own. So he started eating his own reinforcements, and then he transformed into this ugly, disgusting looking, I gotta look up the term for this mythical beast, but it was a lion with a serpent's tail, with a serpent, like a tail, a serpent for a tail, not a serpent's tail, like, you know, because his tail had like a snake head, right? I forget what that mythological creature is. But he also had like octopus tails growing out of him. It was crazy. And he's talking like, oh, I've transcended. I've become a god. But he looked like a monster. And FOHL tell him this. He's like, you're a monster. And at some point, Geralis is able to look at himself and how he looks. He's like, oh God, I am a monster. He was looking ugly. Right? But so now all of a sudden he transformed, and now this was a back and forth, family. This is like a good little conflict between FOHL and Geralis for real. But so now that Geralis transformed again, now FOHL is on his back foot. And Naofumi notices while he's observing, you know, because Naofumi low-key has like a game interface when he's looking at some things, right? Like his teammates have like levels and status information, and so he's looking at FOHL, and the system like asked him, no, this is not solo leveling, but the system asked him, do you want to use your skill to power up or to transform FOHL? And so now for me, check with FOHL. He's like, hey bro, you ready? Cause we finna turn you up. And FOHL said he ready. So he activate the skill. A big old beam of light hits FOHL, and he turns into a full-blown, he's not bipedal, he's not a humanoid looking, he's not a white tiger looking humanoid. Now he's full-blown white tiger. Like, he's on fours, he's got a tiger body, he's a full-blown tiger at this point, right? But when they see the beam of light, some of these other demi-humans, they get on their knees and start praying, like they're like, oh, this is the divine miracle. That was funny to me. But so now FOHL is able to handle business. And so he does. We defeat Geraldus. The duel's over. You know, they about to prepare a ship for us for Q10 Low. And the second half of the episode is really FOHL and Atla being able to connect, because this is their homeland, right? So they're able to connect with their past parents, or parents who passed away. So what do they do after the battle concludes? We go and visit their graves, and we show our respects, and then we go to their house, where, and this is a I mean, cute is the only word that comes to my mind, but FOHL is the older brother. While FOHL is the less talented combatant, or at least he was prior to this fight, he is the older brother. So he and Atla was a tiny, tiny baby when they lost their parents. So she really does not remember much, if anything at all. While FOHL does have some memories. So this is a real cute big brother moment where he's able to pass on or share some of these memories that he has that she really does not have at all. So they visit their old home. There's some traditional white tiger clothing for Atla to try on. She picks a new outfit. FOHL, and with the help of Naofumi, FOHL prepares a meal that his mom used to make, so that, you know, Atla can have a chance to try that. So it was really heartwarming. It was wholesome for sure. Definitely a great landing for this little mini arc after the mess that we had to deal with. Geraldus was messy, man. Geraldus was nasty. He was ugly. You know, we thought we were coming to this land where we're revered and respected and honored, and it was nothing but disrespect. Nothing but backstabbing, nothing but manipulation, right? So for us to overcome that hurdle, and for us to conclude our little stint in Siltveld with a wholesome meal, you know, a wholesome gathering, like we able to relax, we have a meal together, FOHL and Atla are able to honor their parents and, you know, just be together in memory of their past life, right? So it's very wholesome. We get the ship prepared, but Raftalia, when we're leaving, going to the ship, Raftalia mentions, hey, we got to go back to the village, though. We got to go back to Luo Larona, I think is the name of the village. But so that's where we came from before Siltveld. But Raftalia saying we got to go back in order to decide on what our party is going to look like, what our group is going to look like when we finally go to Q10 Low. But everything's arranged now. I guess next episode we'll be headed there. And we got business to tend to, because remember, the season started with, or last season ended with, basically like some assassins coming from Q10 Low, because they thought that Raftalia was like sending an aggressive, an offensive signal to the royalty over there, because she put on like a specific outfit that made them think she was trying to take over the royal status. So we got to go handle business in Q10 Low. Peace and love.